Today is August 26th. It's a Monday. It's 1:50 a.m. After trading 4 years, I've discovered that trading can be entered at any time, which has been true because I was able to enter at any time. And so, since I wasn't synchronized to a specific setup, I can enter at any time. And if I was lucky, then I was with the market. But if I was not lucky, then I was against the market. And therefore, it was essentially a total loss. So when I look at a particular setup, then the setup will provide a excellent entry. So if the forex pair is dipped and is coming back up, that means that at the point where it's dipping, where the reversal is about to occur, and when I enter in this point, that means probably I should not be shorting it here because it would dip a little bit and it'll reverse. Okay, so that means that at a certain point where transition occurs, then I have to give it some certain amount of distance in order for me to enter to take advantage of whatever the trend that there is left over. Now that I see that, that means that what I have to do is wait for a particular event to occur at a specific location in a candlestick formation to determine whether it is worth it or not worth it. So if I quickly identified, so what I'm looking at is if there is a trend that is this long, if the trend is this long from my pinky to my thumb, that means that if it's a downward trend, when I get in here, that's going to be an A plus setup. But if I get in here, it's going to be probably like a D setup because it already has practically finished moving to this setup where the transition will occur that will point it moving up. That means this is an A plus setup with all confluences that align. This will probably be like a C or a D, not even worth trading. And so at a point where somewhere around here, then the efficacy and the taking advantage of the trade is going to be in this area and this area, and then getting close to here when I'm about to enter by mistake, then this will be the great point to exit the trade. And therefore, although it is possible for me to enter at any moment within these points in a trend, A plus setup and entry will occur here or here, and that would be mediocre. This would be a no-no. And then here, that would be at a point where I should be abstaining from any transition until I see certain behaviors that says it's not a range-bound situation and it's moving up. So this is something that I've discovered recently. It's amazing that I've discovered it. I've been watching Al Brooks' trading course. The materials are quite broad and expansive, and to form all those together and piece it together and make this conclusion, and professionals talking about A plus setups, that's exactly what an A plus setup is. Something with a large support and resistance gap, right? Preferably about 1,000 pips. And momentum is starting out at this point, and there's a huge gap on the previous point where this gap occurs. In order to fill that gap, it's going to be a swift move if there isn't any support and resistance in between. So that would be like an A plus 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 setup once I get in at this point and then exit at this point. That is a distinction between an A plus setup and a mediocre setup and a excellent setup, which was an A plus setup at a certain time and period will become less of a setup and become a mediocre to just hold off and wait for a better development to occur. This is something that I have just discovered.